And welcome to Stone Soup Poetry. Thank you for going on what's probably historically now the longest running open mic online, exclusively on you.
Bravo!
I'll make that claim. Fight me. Um, we are very glad, super glad to keep the tradition going in 2021, even as the live 50th anniversary celebration is in high question. At least our weekly gatherings are not. I am very happy to have Tzynya Pinchback as our feature poet as we continue through February. Everyone give her a round of applause, virtual applause, whatever you like. Whatever you like. I'm happy to see her more and more of her work see more of her work, to see more of her open mic slots, to see her work in Oddball Magazine. Some of that work will be featured tonight, and it's been great to feature. It's going to be great to give her a full 20 plus minute feature if she so desires, or as long as she likes. I like the new unicorn look. I almost say unicorn. I don't even know what that would be. What that would entail. I'm gonna shut up now. It's best when I don't talk. It's best when I get the poets to do the speaking for me. So we're going to go to the first person I have on the open mic, another past online feature for Stone Soup. Not to content to rest on his laurels, he is with us here still every week. Let's welcome up Mr. John Wezek.
Thank you, Chad. Here's something I don't think I've read for you yet. It's a flash fiction piece called Beckett's Trousers. I used to think a pretty woman would look good in anything, but Lydia's shoes proved me wrong. In her sympathy for all living things, Lydia was a jewel, but her taste in footwear was an abomination. If they were an animal, they'd be a tapeworm or one of those beetles that feasts on excrement. Bloody rags, cinder blocks, or even a pair of chainsaws secured with duct tape would look better on her feet. I tried to cover my embarrassment by claiming work had made me too exhausted to attend the opening, but Lydia would have none of it. We have to go. Everybody who's anybody will be there. So, like a man on his way to the firing squad, I let Lydia lead me to the tea station and ignored the smirks from the guys in New England Patriots jerseys on the red line. To paraphrase the song, these boots aren't made for walking. If it had been a race, an anesthetized snail would have beaten us, but we eventually made it to the Brookline Gallery in Cambridge, which was across from the Framingham Books on Worcester Street. When Lydia saw the marquee announcing Samuel Beckett's Trousers, she picked up her pace and re-arrived breathless and sweating at the entrance. I reached for my wallet, but Lydia, thoughtful and considerate Lydia, had already bought tickets online. Once inside, I noticed that the owners had stripped the white walls of all paintings. A man in a tuxedo jacket and pink tutu stood at the microphone saying, "Justice, civilization, mercy, liberty." The crowd, intent on cheese cubes speared with toothpicks and cheap wine and plastic glasses, ignored him. Even more fortuitously for me, they ignored the travesties on Lydia's feet. "That's Roshi Jimothy, the autistic Zen master." Lydia pointed to a robed man sitting on the hardwood floor by an extension cord that fascinated him. Such an inspiration. A man in some kind of spacesuit stood talking to a woman in a fleece jacket. "Angina," Lydia's mouth opened in disbelief. "She's the ex-wife of that congressman busted for soliciting sex from an undercover cop in a bathroom at the Denver airport." She pointed to a man surrounded by women in three-piece suits. "And he's the CEO who had himself declared dead to avoid a fraud conviction." "He can't do that," I said. "Evidently in Connecticut he can." Lydia continued her narration. There's the girl who was kidnapped by polygamists. That man spent 30 years in jail for a murder he didn't commit. She's the sex positive preacher with HIV who moonlights as a stripper. Lydia's words blurred together in my mind. Sent adopted baby back to Russia, molested by her rock star father, abducted by aliens, taken hostage by guerrillas, surrogate mother who sued for custody, beaten up and dragged off an airplane, acquitted of shooting a black suspect in the line of duty. A topless woman on a horse ducked her head to clear the doorway as she rode inside. Her long hair covered any anatomy that would offend self-appointed guardians of public morality. As for the horse, the poor animal had a day-glow strap-on attached to its forehead to make it look like a unicorn. The only person who ignored the display was Lydia, who pointed out a huge man in a football jersey. Poor guy. He's the quarterback allergic to all food except breast milk. He looks well fed, I observed. Lydia turned her back on me. What's wrong? If you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. She stomped away. The guy in the spacesuit approached. Some party, huh? What's with a suit? I asked. I was born without an immune system. The least little cold virus could kill me. Must be tough. I'm used to it. Say, can I bum a cigarette? Sorry, don't smoke. I patted my empty pockets to show sincerity. Samuel Beckett's trousers lay draped on a pedestal under a plexiglass dome. They were black, and the zipper was broken. Someone, probably Beckett himself, had replaced a lost button with a safety pin. Thank you.
Nice one, sir. And let's keep that going. It's a shorter open mic list than normal, although the number might be growing. I know Chris Fitzgerald joined us. If you're interested in joining the open mic, let me know. If there's other people who are joining and would like to be part of it, let me know. That excludes anyone who's been a regular for the last few months. I'm going to automatically assume you want to come on, people like Ethan. So as we continue, we're going to unmute. Open mic list at normal, although the number might be growing. I know Chris Fitzgerald joined us. Whoa, hello. Hello. Okay, someone mute their Mark. If you can mute your, yeah, turn that volume down. There you go. Just got a little flashback. All right, Mark, I'll put you down for the open mic. Welcome, sir. And what do I go? Where am I now? Oh, yes. I am going to introduce our one person joining us by phone. I tried to get Nancy Dotson. Hey, Mark. And Nancy Dotson is not able to join us. So I'm going to bring up the next person, actually the first and only person on the open mic. Let's welcome up Carol Weston.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Yeah. Well, this morning early, it is a sacred swirling of the water down the toilet, enacting the whirling of the galaxies. Period. Louise Baxter and I, for 28 years, I personally couldn't enter the new year without swimming in the ocean. And so we ended up doing it together, along with 300 or however many people joined the Polar Bear Swim. The Polar Bear Swim to Louise Baxter. For 28 years at Earl Street, we celebrated the new year with reverence to the risen sun. Our toes ached in the snow above the sand. Then we ventured into the paralyzing salt waves. That's it.
Thank you so much, Carol.
Yay.
Thank you, Carol.
Coming up next past Stone Soup, Jack Saver Stone Soup, Jack Power Stone Soup Saver Poetry Prize winner, and open mic regular, both live and online. Let's welcome up Mr. Bill Lewis.
Oh my goodness gracious. What is that thing? It's so bright. I do not understand how you people can deal with such light brilliance. I think it would just go blind if I had to see all that sunshine all the time. Oh, human beings are like that. Excuse me. It has been said that money is the root of all evil. Well, actually, it is the love of money which is the root of all evil. My observation is that the lack of money is actually a bigger evil than the love of it, because I don't know that many people who actually are in love with money. I know several people who have made a whole pile of money. I know some multi-millionaires, but they weren't trying to make money. They were trying to do something really cool, and the money just came along with it. I mean, if you're going to invent a new world, you get paid for it. Oh, why? Oh, money. Yes. So I have all this money. Look at all this money. I have all this money that I am trying to give away. I'm not trying to give it away. I'm trying to pay you to write me an epic poem. I cannot believe. Didn't you believe me that I really wanted it, or just not? Are you all so wealthy that you do not have to pay attention to money? But wouldn't it be really fun to take it as a challenge to write a really cool poem, an epic poem, a glorious poem about people during this pandemic who have thrived, who have overcome adversity and are doing well? I want someone to write me this poem. And that's why I've got money everywhere. If I lose this money, it is your fault. I'm blaming Chad. Where is my poetry? So, as Carol knows, I am an alumni, one of those things, of the great man himself. La 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 la. It's if I can get the words right. This is for you, Carol. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hope and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. 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 It's a small, small world. I would listen to that every day on my way over to Fantasyland #1, where I was busy cooking hamburgers for the assembled crowds at Disneyland. I was so proud. I loved being at Disneyland. I loved the fact that Walt Disney made a place for families. It was not a place to take your money. It was a place where you're going to come in. You bought coupons, so you didn't even have money. It was a place for families. There was time to have fun and welcome and fun games and nothing evil and nothing nasty. And you could leave your kids on Tom Sawyer's Island for the whole day and they'd be fine. So yeah, I was totally in love with Walt Disney. And so Carol and I were talking Walt Disney there. And I wanted to finish by reminding everybody here that we live in the best of times. We have survived COVID. We have survived. We're still here. And now there's crazy ass opportunity everywhere, not just writing nice poetry for me, but I am teaching on OutSchool. I'm making money teaching cool stuff to kids. You can go on Zoom, you can go make tons of money, go out there, be rich, be wealthy. This is your opportunity. Oh, okay, that's enough of me talking. Chad, it is your.
It's my what?
Oh, I have done my poetical vision here, so I will let you do something.
Okay.
Chad, I'll read if someone, at some point.
Okay, Chris, I will, I'll unmute you when the time comes. There's a little bit of background noise. I'm not sure how, but it's good to have you back on. Thanks so much, and we'll get to you. Okay. Okay, thank you, Bill. And up next, we have, let me get to the gallery view so I can find everybody. Okay, if I muted you, please stay muted. It's because there's background noise. Chris, please. I am going to go now to Jan Rowe.
Thank you. I'm going to read something from the Black Seed Weekly Writers. And every Tuesday morning, 9:30, Cathedral St. Paul on Tremont Park Street, breakfast is served. The reading is this Tuesday, and it's co-sponsored by the BPL, Boston Public Library, and the Cathedral. I think they're going to stream it live, although we're going to be in the sanctuary because it's big enough. So this time I'm actually reading a poem from one of the guys, Shannon, homeless. He had to learn to walk and talk again after an accident. And I helped him with the housing application, and he was the highest number, 79 out of about 1,500, but there were only 30 units. She said, by Shannon. She said many things, but one thing seems to stand out. I hope this will always stay the way it is, but now it is what it was. She said, I'm all done with being put down, being forced to do anything that I don't want to do. She said, I don't deserve you. She said, you deserve better than me. She said, there is no better than you. I can't live without you. She said, you can do so much better than me. She said, your next one's going to be so beautiful. She said many things, but one thing she said was, I love you, but I don't want to hurt you. And then she was gone.
Thank you so much, Jan. And up next, we have one of our newbies. Oh, yes, there she is right there. And let's ask her to unmute and let's ask her for her words. I think she first came on when Philip Curtis had his reading last year. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome back Rusty Rose.
Yes, I'm delighted to be here to hear Miss Pinchback read. I'm waiting for that. I'm going to read one from my latest book. It's a flower pantoum from my book, Flower Poems, Personalities in Bloom. Shasta Daisy. Shasta Daisy, swaying in the wind, ready to party any hour of the day, offering a buttery button smile, a welcoming sign, with thin white petals keeping flower beat time, ready to party any hour of the day. Crazy Daisy, you are my lady, with thin white petals keeping flower beat time, dancing in the breeze never tires you. Crazy Daisy, you are my lady. Your zest is contagious to all. Dancing in the breeze never tires you. You are vital to our garden. Your zest is contagious to all. offering a buttery button smile, a welcoming sign. You are vital to our garden, Shasta daisy, swaying in the wind. And then I'd just like to share a new one I'm working on, art recipes. So this is, brand new, this type of poems. This is called Recipe Francis Bacon. In skillet, sizzle thick, homoerotic dark slabs mixed with an oily impasto of banana yellow, glowing orange and pomegranate red. Fry on medium heat, careful not to splatter against walls and doors as it browns. Let out a visceral mantra, bacon, bacon. Slice a rack of beef, add potatoes, popes, twisted limbs, eggs, and gnawing lovers. Spoon in drops of blood, salt, turn until crisp. Let out another visceral mantra, bacon, bacon. Garnish with cheddar and chives, blueberries on the side. Dangle a Marlboro from screaming mouth. Pour a glass of whiskey on an overcast day. Sit in an empty room, perhaps a cage. Do not forget your umbrella. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Rose. And up next, let's see where we are now. Yes, we have the music girl interlude now with our very own musician, our very own Paul Schaefer, our very own Pulse of Stone Soup, Pulse of Boston, Mr. Ethan Mackler.
Thank you, Chad. I wrote this today. I composed this today. Roses are red. Roses are blue. Roses are black, and lavender too. Roses are yellow. Roses are green. But why is it the red ones that are the ones mostly seen? Thank you. Back to you, Chad.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mackler. Let's see who we got left as we go down the list. We have someone who, if you've been looking at the chat, also has his own anthology for looking that he's doing calls for submissions for. He's the one-man band behind Vagabond Books, who's published a number of anthologies over the years. The most recent one he's asking for submissions for. He did an deadline extension recently. I think the deadline extension is in March 1st. Yes, and that's for an anthology for the future. The title is called the title, or the forthcoming title, is Reimagine America. I actually posted information about this a short while ago. I'll repost it or bring it back up to the top for those who are interested. There's a lot of anthologies, a lot of new print journals. I posted information on Hidden Charm Press and their upcoming Mojo anthology for Black women writers and artists. and pass that around if you can, because that one's gotten some heavy censorship from Facebook and other social platforms. Just for one simple image, which I have to say is probably the most innocuous I've seen out of a lot of crazy book covers. So give Minion Ariel King some love, and give this next person up some love, and consider donating. It's considered contributing to the anthology. And let's welcome up past Stone Soup feature. It's good to have him back, Mr. Mark Lipman.
Hi, thank you, Chad, so much. It's so great to see you. It's just a odd fluke that I'm here. I turned on my computer and saw the announcement. It was just starting, so I jumped right on. So great to see you and to see some old friends from back east. I see Jan and James out there. James is in the last anthology we did. So great to see you guys and to just reconnect with the East Coast again. I'm coming to you live from Venice Beach, so it's really a distance we're able to traverse on this, which is huge new jump in tech. I wanted to give a shout out to Bill, because he was asking for epic poems. Just to let you know, just prior to the quarantine that came down, I published an epic poem called The Imperiod. It's a 300-page poem, all in tercerima, 17-line tercerima verse. So I wanted to share that with you. It's a continuation from the Aeneid, from the founding of Rome to modern time. It takes place mostly in the 15th century. Sea voyages, rise and fall of empires, going to Hades, a grand adventure. I'll put a link in there about this for you, and I'll just share with you the first stanza of this, just to give you a taste of how the poem goes. And it starts: "For love and the destiny of man I sing, of those compelled by fate to fulfill the goddess's journey and lift an Atlas weight. In the house of Priam, forward bring those beleaguered sons of Troy who fled across the Aegean Sea, harried by the unfathomable hatred of Queen Juno and the accursed sorrow of Greek-led tragedy, set adrift on Neptune's seas, a floating human cargo, suffering beyond all measures to Libyan shores, surmounting brutal wars and many foes, to found a home once more, have at hand one final test, greater than all that have come before claiming their well-earned rest. O muse unto Apollo, sun god who sees beyond all, whose beloved lineage this telling does attest to follow, through peril and great toil, I pray for the merit to recall how the empire finally ended and the gods themselves did fall." And it continues on from there.
Bravo! That was really great. Now there is some serious epic poetry, man. Woohoo! Everybody, pay attention to this guy. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for the enthusiasm on that. I'll put the link in for that book, so if anyone's interested, they can follow up later. One poem I did want to share with you, which is really on theme and timely for the moment we're in right now, especially in 4 days coming up. I wanted to share a brand new poem with you. You're the first ones to ever hear this, okay? So it goes like this. "Whenever you are near me, there's a swelling in my chest. Could it be something on your breath or floating in the air that makes my temperature rise? It's no surprise when I look into your eyes, everything starts to go all blurry around me. You just have that kind of effect on me. After rolling around with you, oh, how my body aches. Only you could get my joints so stiff. Just thinking about you makes me want to isolate to a place where we can take off all these masks and just be together, bodies cramped into a room. They say I should be in the hospital for the way you make me feel, my lungs all heavy and heart beating fast. Intensive care is what I need after being in bed so long with you. I bet you have this effect on everyone you meet. Your love is like a protein spike that latches on to every fiber of my being. Some say we're near the end, but I know it's just the beginning. There's no cure for all these romantic variations, for how you've peaked and mutated my very soul. You're the super spreader event I've been waiting for. So now that we're all alone and it's just you and me, all I want to know before this life leaves me is, would you be my quarantine?
Bravo! Bravo! That was wonderful.
There you go.
Oh.
Just something for coming up Valentine's Day for you guys.
I give you a round of applause and also for the pun, but it warrants both.
Thank you so much. It's a huge pleasure to be here, Chad. Thank you for letting me share.
Hey, welcome back. Come back. We're here every week, every Wednesday night from 7 to 9 until the foreseeable future. We might even be celebrating our 50th anniversary like this at the rate things are going. But stay in touch, please. And everyone, don't forget the click on that link for the Reimagine America anthology and consider contributing to that on the first before the 1st of March is over. All right, and we are on our way to the next person on the open mic, the second to last, I think, before we break out our James Van Loy. Let's see where he is. We can ask him to unmute now, and I don't know if he's got video, but it would be great to hear from him, and see him. It's been a while, Mr. Chris Fitzgerald.
Can you hear me speak now?
I can hear you speak now. Can we see you speak?
I don't know how to do that, Chad, but I'll practice sometime.
You might get a little command to be able to do that, but if not, it's good to hear from you.
All right, I have 2 poems I'd like to read. I've had a crazy relationship the last 5 years, the Atlantic, and this one's called New York, New York. The city's so nice, they had to name it twice. Part 1. I will send the rest of it, and a little aside, I will send the rest of it for your gross revenues of the last 6 months. I first discovered New York City, October '76. I had heard that there was this place called New York from books and movies and television, but I had never seen or smelled or tasted or touched or heard the place myself. What a splendid addition to my life. After being somewhat settled and having seen maybe 20,000 people without one of them giving me the slightest acknowledgement of my existence, I thought I'd stop for a beer, so we did. A bar directly across from the Edison Hotel on 47th Street, frequented mostly stagehand union members, men in their 40s and 50s, a few women. I was the youngest person there. The bartender, whose name was Cynthia, brought me a beer. A man sitting but two stools down, whose name was Victor, immediately starts addressing the bartender. Victor says to Cynthia that he has a feeling which has led him to believe that he would enjoy watching her eat a hamburger. But she comes right back with, it's very considerate of him wanting to make sure that she gets the nourishment inside her that a hamburger can provide. But in reality, all Victor has to do is give her 75 cents, the cost of the hamburger, and she will eat it and won't give anyone else a bite. I remember saying to myself at the time, not only would I throw up 75 cents to sit across the table and watch Cynthia eat a hamburger, I was so alive in New York, yet alone, but I would also throw up 50 cents. Well, if you remember young American women at the time with their hamburgers, they seemed to like the French fries. 30 SM, 45 LG. The conversation between the two continues, but it seems to me to be straying farther and farther from Victor's original intention. So finally I stand up, look Cynthia right in the eye. I know it. 2 hours in one of the world's largest cities and already trying to take over. And I say to her, I think he just wants to see you. She instantly flashes to me a New Yorker's look, which seems to say, you dummy, if you don't know how to play, you ought to go home. Victor is laughing. She knew 4 or 5 other people were also laughing. I suddenly felt ridiculous. Finished my beer, left the bar. I think I'll try to discover New York by foot. But I had made my first human contact in New York at that bar with a group of people, and we returned at night those first few weeks and exchanged pleasantries, arguments, and quite a few laughs. In fact, 2 weeks after my initial introduction, I and that aforementioned bartender were discussing fleeing the urban setting, withdrawing deep into the Maine woods. I'd make my fame and fortune as a freshwater ice fisherman. But I'm sure some will recall 1976 wasn't a banner year for the smart Coleman stove shopper, and I couldn't get a good deal on one anywhere. Now this is the second one. Oh shit, sorry. The poem I'm sending is 100 times better than anything you've published in the last 50 years. This academic cousin kissing crap that you promote is 1,000 times more injurious to the body politic than Donald Trump. Trump has a golf club in one hand and a TV clicker in the other. That's why he sounds so empty. What's your excuse, smarty pants? I tried sewing and rowing in the occasional crossword, but until I put my hands on your ass while slow dancing in the living room of your apartment on Sawyer Ave, I had no idea how important my hands were to my pursuit of happiness during my stay on the planet Earth. You recall the next day, I gave up engaging in pickup games, playground basketball. I couldn't take a chance, I hurt my hands. I mean, I wouldn't have missed sewing and rowing and the occasional crossword, but all the best, all the rest, all the best. Thank you. Can you hear me, Charlie?
Thank you, Chris. Yep, we heard you just fine.
Okay, good. I couldn't tell because I don't have a picture.
No problem.
I know. I'll practice over the weekend.
So we have no problem, Chris. Thank you so much. So we have we have two new entries, a Zaji and a Candace. Are either of them willing to be or able to be a part of the open mic? If so, let us know. If not, I can move on. Zaji, okay.
Not maybe. Let's do it, Zaji. Let's do it.
All right. I think you're bound by internet law if the feature wants you to actually read, Zaji. So I'm going to introduce you next on the open mic. Ladies and gentlemen, the newest open mic sensation on Stone Soup. Let's welcome up Zaji.
I am so unprepared. I came to listen. Can you give me a minute?
We're giving you a minute now. Don't worry. No worries.
I have to tell you guys a quick story while she is preparing. This wild woman. I had a reading in 2019 in the fall in at the Aiken Library in upstate New York, and I drove out. She drove all the way from New York, from Brooklyn. She didn't tell me she was coming. And I was there with American Poetry Journal, and there was barely anyone there. And I looked off in the corner, and she's there, like cloaked in a hood, and just real clandestine. And it was amazing. I think we screamed and hugged for for an eternity. But she just got up and drove all that way, and then stayed silent the whole time. So she's she's very mysterious. She's a mysterious character and an amazing writer. So there you go.
That's a better intro than I could have done.
Something.
There we go.
More like prose poetry, something I wrote recently, so it's unedited.
No more hook humility. Come on, let's hear it.
Painted nails. Painted nails stare back at me. Candy apple red tells the story of my life. I am my nails, flashy and bold, fire burning on sand. I am remembering late nights in dark spaces under disco lights. I was a dancer then, moving supple flesh inside flames. We gyrated, flowed like water, rarely any slack tide between me and the dance. I became rhythm, bringing magic to the night. Then in time to the still young Broadway stage where my craft burned inside me like fire. All were spellbound by the movement of the flames produced by twisting bodies that made love to sound. They stood. The encore vibrated deep down inside. Dance was breath, the life I thought would never end. The years chipped away at my flesh. My youth wrestled to the ground by time. Fame mocked in hushed tones. It whispered to me on many lonely nights when money ran dry and canned hope was all that was left to sustain me. I ate hope in heaping spoons. Very little change, and my tears watered nothing. I realized that the music stopped when my body lost memory of what it was like to be limber and free, sway and syncopate, dementia in the bones. My soul remembers all too well what my body has forgotten. The walls close in. I walk outside, cane in hand, to join the moon in its melancholy. The street lights glow crimson against the black sky. I become uneasy with the streets that make of me an unwilling walker without a place in the world. Desperation has a strong, foul smell. I slip back inside to hide my nails from the women who might mistake me for sister. We are not sisters. They are not filled with fire, those women with their nails painted red. Dance was my sister, the fire that burned inside me, always there for me, grew up with me, kept me company in moments of despair. Dance was my sister. She died, and with her, my will to dream. I painted my nails red tonight to conjure ghosts that sway to the flicker of my candlelight. They dance for me, swing hips for me to remind me of the past. I tried finally to dream again, but all I see is an empty room with red nails littering the dance floor. I am no longer my nails.
Told you.
Wait, I didn't hear that. Could you repeat it exactly as you said it just a few minutes ago? This always comes from the shy ones. I just want to state that for the record. Always the fucking shy ones.
You can't trust the shy ones.
Fuck the shy. Anyway.
Yeah.
Zaji, welcome aboard. I am. I made this announcement when before you had come on, but I'm definitely sending you a link. I don't know if you're able to see it, link through the chat, but ask your friend for it. It's an invitation to join the Mojo and the next Mojo issue of Mojo. It's a Mojo anniversary issue. Minion Ariel King is looking exclusively for Black women writers, and she's been having a hard time promoting the event because for whatever reason, Facebook found her imagery too erotic or too prohibitable. So that's exactly what they did. So I've just been passing around. I'm a Trojan horse with my post. I just shared it on the chat. If you look back on the chat, there's a bunch of stuff. But if you do miss it for whatever reason, you can either go to Stone Soup, which has a link as well, or Tzynya can forward it to you. That was some fantastic work. I know Minion would love to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we do have another author or another person who did join, Candace Lan. Would you be interested in reading? Okay, I'm going to take that as a no, but if she changes her mind, if and wants to read later, we will definitely welcome Candace. For now, we're going to end off the open mic and best of all, get to the feature, and I get to stop talking for even longer. We're going to bring up next Mr. James Van Looy. James is the regular oddball columnist every Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. His column, It's All One Thing, appears without fail. He'll be going up tomorrow morning, and his work is shown up in a number of other places, as Mark Lipman will tell you. It's great to have him here week after week, even in Stone Soup's new format. And hopefully he can be part of the celebration again soon. And hopefully he'll be able to do his live performance of, I think, Rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Forget what in the future. we got to see this. We want to do it live, and we want to film it. But for now, we have James right now. Let's bring up James.
Thanks, Chad. So I've got an old poem here from 2016, which is called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, which of course was a Cab Calloway song title from 1931. So here's this poem called Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea. What more narrow escape could there be than the mariner named Seam, the devil, that runs along the waterline its very self, of that deep sea that has become so very blue, as satanic literalism finds ever more demons who demonically, of course, hatch new identities in the hot house incubator of the tiny village we made of this poor old globe that turns ever into itself. And you know, all those selves so deep within all of us that they all want their right to be and to exist somewhere between the false choice of lesser evilism and the ever multiplying and fertile gradations of identity politics, always just waiting there, like all the progress we've made and how great everything used to be when the devil was red and the deep blue sea had not yet turned red too, with red tides and those pesky invasive creatures wetbacked on the beaches and borders and turn to keep the trade routes open and keep the Spratly Islands as simple tidal rocks and Vladimir Putin singing on Blueberry Hill. If only we can keep the devil above the waterline and the deep blue sea in safe harbor where it belongs. And then I have a quick song. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer's day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun and when the night is new. I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. Thanks, folks.
Thank you, James. And it looks like we do have one last minute addition. One person who just came in under the wire. If she wants to read for the open mic, she most certainly can. A past Stone Soup friend and a past Stone Soup supporter, now turned current Stone Soup supporter via the web. Let's see if Gloria Monahan would like to read.
Hi, everyone. Tzynya, I'm so excited to see you reading. I'm so happy that you and Chad made a connection, which might not have happened in real life. Not that this is fake, but.
Hi, Gloria. Glad to see you here.
James, I just adore both of those musical references, and we just need more song in our life in this time. So thank you for putting yourself out there. You know what? It put me in the mind of Billy Barnum, who was a longtime performer, of course, from Barnum and Bailey Circus, who passed away. When did he die, Chad? Was that last year?
It was 2019.
Right. And a real, sad thing, because he had such a childlike spirit and so beautiful. What a beautiful, beautiful man. He would do improvisational dance. And of course, he was a mime and a performer, and he was just wonderful. So thank you, James, for that open spirit. I'm going to read a poem called Corazon, parenthesis, Narcissus. So I don't know if anyone here knows the Dear John, Dear Jane letters that people would send to each other in World War I, World War II, the breakup letters. And so I imagined if I came across a letter someone had torn up and thrown in the snow in anger. And I found it and I picked it up and I'm writing a reply to whoever was writing that breakup letter. Corazon. I found your letter in the street and picked it up. It told me of a love like a broken winter fox sparrow sings. Over the frozen petal, staring like Narcissus into a glass eye of nothing. I found your letter, Corazon, in the snow. It told me of your summer nights and your elusive smile on her shoulder, how you held her in your arms all night and she let you. I found your letter, mi cielo, and held it in my shaking hands. It told me about your strong young heart and your breath on her neck, although she never returned your calls and slept with someone else. You still want her. I put your letter in my pocket, and it stirs my heart into remorse for all those I hurt, and now I am like them, a reflection in the eye of a small freckled bird. I dream of you. Thank you. Tzynya, I can't wait to hear.
Thank you, Gloria.
Thank you, Chad.
I think, I don't know if, oh my God, we're getting people under the wire. We're getting people crossing the fences right now. This is amazing. Tony B, would you
Hi,
be interested?
Tony.
Would you be interested in performing, Tony?
Hi, Tzynya. Hi, Chad. I'm
Hey,
so
Tony.
glad to see you there. Sorry I'm late. What up, Alan Stallings? I'm ridiculous. I'm going to be quiet real quick and open my book. Wait. Tzynya's about to read?
You can read first if you want to be on the open mic.
Not really. She's fabulous, and I came to hear her.
Okay, then we will.
Tony, you're really going to come here and not read, really? Is that what we're going to do today?
You the star.
We're all the stars.
So, I have a poem.
Okay.
Oh, wait. This is how we're doing. So this is my poem. This is just all my poem. So yes, I came here bedecked in my beautiful dress. Different people have ways of freeing you. I met Tzynya Pinchback online, and I don't even know how that connection happened, but it happened. And then I seen her post, and her post is like glitter filling up your body, and you're able to float, and you can still fly, and you're fantastical, but you're here and down to earth. Her poems, her struggles with health, the fact that she could still smile and still love her daughter, okay? And still find joy in life instead of just breaking down and being depressed. Well, that's a poem. You live like a poem. You going through all of these things with your body and sharing it with us, and yet you write, and yet you feature. Girl, you the poem. How blessed am I to meet a Pinchback online and not even feel the pinch. Woo! I'll take the glitter, sister. So I'm just here to celebrate you. My poetry is so.
No.
My poetry is so, girl. I need to write and I need to practice more. But what you do for the soul of me and other people, I thank you. I thank you. Thank you.
Here.
Thank you. You are here. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that introduction, I'm going to climb under the table. That's a lot to live up to, but thank you so much.
You changed my life. You changed my life this season, sister, by just.
Thank you. Thank you.
If there's any consolation, I may join you under the table because where the hell am I going to go after all that?
Oh, shit.
But let's get to the part where I get to shut the hell up and the poet gets to read. So I'll read the obligatory boilerplate as best I can, and then we'll all sit and we'll all listen and keep muted. Oh, geez. So, to recap, Tzynya Pinchback is a poet, essayist, and author of How to Make Pink Confetti from Dancing Girl Press 2012. Her recent work appears in Deaf Poets Society, Mom Egg Review, Naugatuck River Review, Raising Mothers, and is broadcasted on WOMR's Poets Corner. She was a finalist for the Poet Laureate position of Plymouth, Massachusetts back in 2020. Seems so long ago. And is currently a writer in residence at the Cordial Eye Gallery and Artist Space 2020 Joy Residency. This is going to be a fantastic reading. I've had glimpses of her genius. I've wanted more, as I'm sure many of you even still do, even if you've gotten to hear and read her more than I have. So ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together 30, 40 times for Tzynya Pinchback.
Thank you, everyone. It's really great to be here. And it's funny that Tony referenced or mentioned meeting online, because I've met so many great writers and people through online poetry groups in the past few years. So it's a very broad world, and then also a very small one at the same time. And I've had the pleasure of reading with a few people here. I've read for Gloria at the yoga studio, and I've read with Gloria on first night, I believe 2020, which seems like a decade ago, right? New Year's Eve 2020. And Tony invited me to participate in Poets in the Garden a couple of months ago. And so I feel really lucky and honored whenever someone reaches out and says, hey, I enjoyed your work, or come and read with us or write with us. So I love all these opportunities. So I figured I would try to read the room to know what to read, but you guys are all over the place. We've got Pantoums, and Mark comes in with this epic poem, which I have never even tried. I think the longest poem I have is 2 pages long, and to me, I feel really insecure reading it in public because it feels so long. So I'm very, very, I'm always impressed with people who can write epic poems in very long verse and kind of novel in verse. But I think I'm going to start in a little homage to the pandemic. I'm going to do a piece that is in progress. So it's a little clunky. You guys are gonna be my guinea pigs. So I apologize for that going in. But I decided this past Christmas, since I haven't seen my family in a year like most people, my siblings and my mom, I decided to give everyone letters of gratitude as a gift. So kind of highlighting just kind of mundane moments that I've had or experiences with them. So this one is one that I am working to turn into something, working to poemify it, I guess you could say. And it is, let's see here. You know, I've gotten so pandemic-y that I rarely print anything out anymore. I don't wear lipstick anymore. So I'm always reading off of a screen, which I never used to do, but you know, that's where we are now. So this piece, right now, this piece is titled How to Make Cornbread Dressing Under Quarantine. Start with 4 slices of sourdough, ½ inch thick. Dress in olive oil and cracked black pepper. The bread, not you. Pull apart without regard to the size or shape of the breadcrumbs made. Haphazard, like driving back to campus freshman year, 375 miles in the desert, exhausted from a week at home in LA, every house party, toque, and pair of spray tanned titties, an invitation you could not refuse. Slide the bread pieces under the broiler. Toast into croutons. About 2 minutes or till the same color as our childhood living room pillow forts, erected from mama's brown couch cushions. The telltale color palette of 1970s harvest gold, a glint in the upholstery. Now you will want to add the stock from the pan holding your turkey and its drippings. Use a ladle, the big spoon that looks pregnant when flipped on its head. I won't mention that at the age of 44, ladle should exist in your kitchen tool lexicon. The ratio of liquid to dry mix of breads, sauteed onion and celery, and meat, if desired, is something you have to feel. You gotta eyeball it. Convey the broth with purpose, careful to retreat at the first hint of drowning, just like Dad on our trip to Big Bear when he walked out into the lake, the two of us perched like ash-skinned gargoyles on his shoulders and caught the beginning of an underwater trench with his foot, spun around like a top, and we giggled at the game of it, not knowing he had just danced us away from the mouth of peril. You gotta eyeball it, man. Add a pinch of sage and add all the sprigs of thyme. You will never regret an abundance of time. Or speaking this love language that began for us as rice and seeds hidden in rows of coiled hairs braided tight to the scalp, of bodies pinned to the bows of ships, of tempest and the tide, often teased out in song. This recipe, like all our stories, a Creole spilling from a mother's hand to a child's lip, but never written down. You were scaling trees, walking the tightrope of pitched and chicken wire fences. I was learning to cook the way I learned to woman at the belt of mama's apron. You were leaping from rooftops, tumbling down flights of stairs, twisting joints out of their sockets or downright splintering bone. But I was mimicking our mother's every move, pressing flowers into salve, sifting this from that as soon as I was tall enough to see over the lip of her cast iron skillet. You gotta eyeball it, man. Does it look like my dressing? Then pour the prepared mixture into a glass or ceramic baking dish made slick with plant-based or unsalted butter. I won't mention that at the age of 44, you should know the specter that takes inventory of our breaths lurked just over your shoulder. Remember, I was 45 when cancer got me. Stir the dressing with a metal fork. Does it come to rest? Easy, but not too easy. A little rebellion in its soul, like you, all boy, all sport, dropping high school basketball for drama club, a constellation of stars and spotlight your second skin. Does the dressing look like mine? Like mama's? Cover it, place it into the oven. Wait 20 minutes and peel back the cover from the corner. Easy, like you are asking permission to intrude. Does it look like mine? Like mama's? Remove the tin foil, crumple it into a little ball, and use that ball to pitch an entire inning of catch with your 8-year-old namesake right there in the kitchen among the bouquet of herbed and sweet holiday breads the night before Thanksgiving. A viral plague hovering just outside your frost-covered windows. It is the next best thing to father and son perched in the sun-drenched green seats, 6 rows behind the dugout at Coors Field. Bacon covered to your house smells like the 3-bedroom duplex just off Crenshaw with the large yard where we grew up, a tree squat in the center of the yard that dropped sour green apples in autumn, where you, still in 1st grade, shared a first kiss with 5th grade Fredra Harold beside the wood gate, its rusted latch jimmy-rigged to clang when engaged, where mama hid eggs hard-boiled and painted gold at the blush of each spring. Our baby brother, a constellation of stars in her belly when the weather turned cold that same year. And you, afraid of the dark, crept into bed where we lay, staring up at my ruffled white canopy, the world dancing behind our eyes. That is a love letter to
Nice.
my younger brother, which is quite odd for us because we rarely, he's the one that's right behind me. So we tend to bicker even now as adults, but you know, it's all, it's all in love, right? So this poem is, I love this poem. It's so much fun. It's short, but it's just, it's a great deal of fun. I was, I don't know what I was doing or what inspired this, but I was thinking about how the person who tells the story is, you know, the person who authors the story is the one who basically authors history. And I was thinking of all the villains that we can think of in our childhood and throughout history, how what would happen if we heard the story from the villain's perspective. And I actually wrote this after poet Anne Briding Olson. She's a dear friend of mine. And this just, I was at a reading with her and she wore the most amazing red pumps, red heels. And so that's what inspired this. Presumed dead, Oz expatriate claims squatters' rights in Kansas after Anne Briding Olson. I am want and rain, wall cloud a pulse against my seat bone, stirring the river of feral rams, limb, sap, and heifer's claw, a putrid debris on my hat's brim. 3 hill clicks from your door. Wicked. Poppy, red like tongue swelled hot with curse and prey, a bouquet under my finger's nail. I am sunflower, plucked bare, storm cellar spun up, gold brick dust and a tone, both the glint and the eye. 10 woodsman's axe up sleeve of yellow slicker, loose sequin, ruby slippers. This piece here was published by Chad in Oddball magazine. Thank you very much for that. It was published last summer, as a matter of fact. And it has I wrote this poem last year right at the start of when everything was shutting down, when the pandemic was, you know, I guess when we realized that there was a pandemic. And it is in dedication. I wrote it for my uncle. My uncle died, and he died. Yesterday was the 1-year anniversary of his death. And my uncle Lloyd was a musician. He was part of the pioneering group who really launched the go-go music sound in DC. So for those of you who don't know about go-go, it's kind of a blend or kind of a, I guess, a hybrid of funk music and island music and R&B. But if you get a chance, take a look. His name was Lloyd Pinchback, and his the name of his group was the Soul Searchers. And he has a song called named Ashley's Roach Clip. His name was Lloyd Ashley. And that song is actually the most sampled song in modern day R&B music. So you've probably heard his guitar riff sampled if you've listened to any R&B or rap music or a lot of pop music in the past 20 years. So this one is titled Blood Held Tight in a Roach Clip. Ghosts cannot slip back into the body's drum. Yusef Kumanyaka. Tall tales of these brothers score my youth, nimble escapes from trouble, outpacing a twister with a slick pigeon-toed two-step, the dirt road and a loaf of soda bread, or was it a blue tint milk bottle, the only things sacrificed to its funnel? Fortuitous stumbles into magic, an ear so tuned to pitch, a note fingered on flute, mimics the tremolo of a loon, the eye, one breath from blindness fails to catch. You should know I am song of pinchback men. You should know I speak your name a ripe plum in my mouth. Black, with skin rice paper thin and alabaster, your teeth cut on the hills of Jim Crow, licked by the fire of Black resistance. It's all in your music. The rapid fire staccato, bellyache scat of it. Clap back gobbledygook wah wah and mumbo jumbo of it. The hum and the moan of it. The string, the reed, the bell, the play and break of it. The giggle, snatch and croon, curse, relent and release of it. The flush of reefer, scald of hot water cornbread, bow-legged men and wide-hipped women of it. Matted afros, back fat, and lips turned hot like sun of it. Give me 5 on the black hand side, hoof prints from the horseman's steed, turned loose its goddamned metronome. Foot stamping into the flame once more and again, always in time of it, always in time. You should know I am song of pinchback men. You should know I speak your name a blossom on my tongue because beauty is danger, is art is danger, is love is danger, is witness. Way through towards the roar of the cymbals, hiss, hiss, hiss. So let's see, we need something a little, it's February. Let's do a little love. Let's do a love poem. This poem, it was a finalist in the Naugatuck River Review annual narrative poetry contest. And as you can tell, I love narrative poems. Overwhelmingly write narrative poems. On occasion, I dabble in more traditional form. I have a villanelle that I have workshopped for 4 years. And it's just about ready. It's just about ready. It's the world's worst pantoum. I mean, not pantoum, villanelle. I can do pantoums quite nicely, but villanelles and sonnets, I just struggle with. So if anyone is hosting a sonnet workshop, I would love to write my first collection of decent sonnets that can see the light of day. I would appreciate that. Reach out to me, sign me up. I'm right there. I would love to do that, Gloria. I really would. So this piece is Let Me Dream When There Is Longing. Let me dream when there is longing of your work shirt, long sleeved, buttoned down, white or maybe blue cotton twill, carrying your sandalwood scent, draped over a chair, the summit of a mountain of laundry next to the hamper, peeking out from the mesh dry cleaner bag squat against the door to the garage. Of lying in bed midweek, you rattling off a list of to-dos and damn if it isn't always something that needs fixing. The kids overbite, window screen shredded by squirrels, leaky kitchen faucet, when my feet find your leg in the tangle of blankets. And in no time, you are pulling me close, my hands on your face, your fingers undoing my braided hair, and that old work shirt tied at my waist. Of standing at the kitchen sink, brushing dirt from just picked root vegetables, my glasses coated in the steam dancing off a covered pot, sweat like small glass beads shimmering on my nose. When I catch a glimpse of the remote control in your hand and remember your favorite work shirt, the button missing from its threadbare cuff, and reach into the junk drawer to retrieve my sewing needles and spool of white thread. So let's see. Chad, what do we want? One more?
You want to do two more? You have a very anxious crowd here. You have a very
Okay.
enthusiastic crowd.
I can do two more. Let's see here. What do we? Um, let's see. Water. Your hair like ribbons of silk, black against the horizon on the first warm day of spring. We stood at the shoreline in Hull, pants tucked into our duck boots, braiding seaweed spat from the mouth of the tide. My feet, like hot stones, sank through the shifting sand, and I fell. Cold water rushing the length of my body, you plucked me from the undertow at the start of what in the coming weeks we would call the season of my drowning. We wrung out my sweatpants, stuffed clamshells deep into our pockets, and drove home with the ocean in our socks.
Mm, mm, mm.
Ah, let's see. We'll do. So we said two more, right? So one more.
I guess, although you do have an enthusiastic audience, so at your own discretion.
Let's see.
I know if I can hold them all back.
What do you got? What do you guys? One or two?
Two.
Okay.
The Tony vote. Yep.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Then I will do I'll do no see this piece I did for the poet laureate finalist reading. We had the task of writing a poem about the town of Plymouth, you know, and who doesn't love that kind of pressure? I love when someone, you know, assigns you an occasion, you know, an occasional poem. It's just daunting. It's insane. So, you know, you live in Plymouth and you're going to write a poem to deliver, you know, to the public. And you know that everyone's going to write about the new America and about pilgrims and the Mayflower, and you know what's going to be tied up in these offerings. And I didn't want to go that way. I really wanted to find something that wasn't very well known, and I wanted to find something, if possible, about a woman. And I just, with all my research, I just didn't come up with anything. And so I had another poem, and it was actually a traditional form piece. And about 4 hours before the reading, I just happened to find something on Google about William Bradford and about his first wife, Dorothea May. She died when the Mayflower first reached Provincetown. She died just mysteriously. She fell off the boat. No one knows, no one really knew how. It wasn't documented anyway. And so I decided to scrap the poem I had, and I wrote this one. No seabird so far from shore, for Dorothea May. Dear William, that first Monday in December, 3 days before the anniversary of becoming your wife, I must have looked to the other passengers, those fearing God and the heathens among them, like spillage of ink. My black dress, white-capped ocean waves, a lace on its hem and sleeve, twisted round my body, waning, the moon's finger spiraling down, sifted the fine hairs on my arm, one by one, as if taking inventory. I imagine the women and men too frail for weeks-long journey into your desolate wilderness and the fair land, a mournful chorus upon your return, retelling stories of my faithful and steadfast devotion in your absence, despite finding, on the morning of your departure, a dead seabird splayed across the box where inside lay a treasure of my finest stockings and grandmother's sewing needles. For days, the Bible clung to my breast, eyes upward to heaven. I stood in rebuke of this omen. Dare I tell you the scavenger bird is confession, a lore without beginning or end, much like the raging tide that waits for no man, just beyond the whisper of earth. I am told is ideal for harvesting liberty. And where you knelt, skin slick from perspiration and foreboding, to lay my bones to rest. Still nothing quiets the memory of you, not silver gull feathers thick with blood, not even tears, as though part of me remains, one foot in the fugue, where once we danced with adventure, collapsing into fits of laughter and eventual fall. And I will do my last poem that Zaji knows quite well because I've read this a couple of times.
Ooh, I'm excited.
And this came about because, well, I have my Hebrew, my name is it's not an English spelling, it's not an English name. So often, people ask, how do you pronounce it? It's often misspelled, which actually doesn't bother me. It's a difficult name, so that doesn't really bother me. But when you have to do things like call your doctor's office, and every time you're calling, you have to respell it and spell it. It can get a little daunting. So that's kind of where this piece came from. Girl with black sounding name records message on prescription refill line. Seeking panacea for exaggerated or phantom pain. 4.5 decades, Black woman flesh disposable, burdened with pain. Pronounced Tzynya, verb from Hebrew, meaning to listen for or hear. Spelled Tzynya. The first letter T is a stop, disrupts airflow, quick, sharp staccato. Repeat after me. Ta, 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 hard, like turmeric, tincture, like something ground in teeth, held tight in the hand till the fingers cramp and bleed. When I feel tainted, remind me I am holy. Like tumor or tomorrow is unpromised. The next letter, Z, is a voiced consonant. Place hand on throat to feel a slight vibration when you make the Z sound, like zinnias in the window box overlooking the sickbed, like what's his is ours, and other harbingers of doom. Like zip close your lips and legs because shrill and sex on a woman is danger. Then, masquerading as a vowel, the letter Y, press close to the letter N to make the een sound, like spleen, like obscene, the fat body left to rot with dis-ease. What do you mean, newfound brain mass, its origin unknown? Before puncture, you must clean the skin. In this space here, write the name of person over 18 serving as healthcare proxy. Another letter Y, palatal, your tongue's bed touching the roof of your mouth, dense like yes, yellow is the color a bad liver paints the skin. Like yield before pulling into traffic, yield before diving into cold water, or arms of man who will match your fidelity with cruelty, leave you maligned, a marriage of his bad cells inside you, 20 years. And finally, we arrive at the letter A, but short and frail, an open back vowel. Your lips do not curve round, like ma, I'm afraid, like Yah, like Yah, like Yahweh, like God. Thank you.
Oh, master poet.
Keep the hands
Thank
going.
you, Tony.
Keep your hands going. At least 40
Thank you,
more
guys.
Oh my God.
Holy hell.
I'm gonna make an effort to write more, or I have a cluster of poems from last summer that are reimagining joy. So I want to work on those a little bit. So this summer I can give you guys joyful poems, poems about joy and birds and bird watching and snow. So
those were exactly what we needed to hear. So thank you very much. And before I have you keep on going with your hook humility here, I do want to ask you to put down your PayPal or your Venmo, so people who want to donate tonight, and they should donate, can donate.
Oh, wow. I've got to read the chat. I've got like 5 million.
It's been active. It's been busy since you've been reading.
And Gloria mentioned that she always puts Tzynya in my name. That's the thing. The English pronunciation is Tzynya, but the true pronunciation would be Tzynya. That would be correct. So actually, either one works. I respond to Tzynya. I respond to Tzynya. I respond to TZ. You'd be surprised. No one in my family calls me Tzynya. Everyone calls me T or TZ. Only people outside of my family even bother with it. People don't, my relatives reduce me to one syllable, one initial. That's it. That's all I'm getting.
As long as they don't call you TMZ,
Exactly.
But by all means, type in your information for Venmo and Cash App and PayPal, whatever you have, so we can donate you a few bucks.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone coming out. And my the writers that I know who popped in and shared writing, I really appreciate it. Zaji let me put her on the spot, and she shared a great piece, so I appreciate that too.
No, that's okay. I shall find you later.
She means that too. She totally means that. I told you she will travel, masked and gloved, and I'll go outside and she's standing out there waiting.
I was
Like-
cloaked and waiting for her, cloak and dagger.
Like a nor'easter.
And red fingernails.
There you
Absolutely.
go.
Tzynya, do you have a book we could buy like on Amazon or something? Because I don't know how
You
to
know
do all
what?
that.
I have a book. It's at my, it's, you know what? It's, you can buy it through Dancing Girl Press, and
Okay.
I will post the link in the chat.
These links will will eventually show up on the Stone Soup webpage as well.
Yeah. I'm redoing my blog. I had a blog for years and I decided to redo it. And of course, you have these grandiose notions of I'm going to redo my blog. That's been like 3 months, right? Every
Right.
weekend I'm going to post and redo it. So yeah, there you have that. So now I have to, which had all my links and everything. So that's where we are with that. Gloria, I hope your offer stands for a form poetry workshop. And I just
hope it
posted the
does.
link to it.
Oh, great.
Excellent. Excellent. I will, I should have all these links. And if you have a PayPal app, because I don't have Cash App, I only have Venmo or PayPal. I don't know how many more apps my phone can fit before it explodes. But whatever you can share with us, I'll be sure to share with the group tomorrow. I think the PayPal and the Venmo methods and Cash Apps have been working really well for everybody. So for those of you who do donate, thank you very much.
And please, are you going to include the links for the writers and where we can find their works? Because I would love to read more of everyone's work. I'm I've got some pantoums to look forward to and epic poetry. And I'm never going to try. It's never going to happen. Not going to happen.
Anybody who wants to anyone who wants to share their work with Tzynya, then we can.
Yep.
Oh, God, if I fucked
And
it up
Zod,
after
you
that,
post your website in there.
Yes, please. If I screwed that your name up
Such
after
a
that poem, I would have
troublemaker.
deserved it. But yeah, definitely
Right.
post. But definitely post your poems and your websites on the Stone Soup page right now, or even do it in the comment section of the video, which has been getting a lot of attention tonight, for which I am very grateful. And with that,
Great.
Yes, with that, we are going to close up shop tonight and thank everyone for coming out tonight. This is a fantastic night. It can be like this every week. All we need is you, in all honesty. And hopefully we'll have more announcements for Stone Soup Poet features for the rest of the month. And we have people I'm trying to line up for March, so it won't be as last minute as it's been. I do appreciate everyone's patience. I did have a little bit of recovery after the COVID vaccine, so I am I'm appreciative of everyone's patience.
Great
and hopefully more information will be coming soon. But thank you again to Tzynya for your amazing work, and thank you for
Thanks,
rocking
everyone.
thanks for rocking the unicorn look for the entire time.
Exactly.
Thanks,
everyone. Thanks for coming. Thank you. Thanks for your words.
Let's do a little bit of let's do the obligatory wave for everyone who has a camera. Please and with that, we pause the wave so it doesn't look weird when it's blurred. There you go. Alan's got it. There you go. Second, third try. Okay, and thank you guys very much for your attention. Please come back next.
Thank you. Yeah.
Please come back next
week.
Thank
you guys.
Please come back next week, everyone. This is going to be fantastic, and enjoy yourselves and enjoy your words.
Chad.
Video will be coming up tomorrow, and with that, the show's over.
Have a good night, everyone.
See you next time.